BIDz.ai is an advanced agentic AI platform integrated with OpenAI, Google Vision, and AWS, delivering world-class procurement automation solutions across vendor onboarding, sourcing, comparison analytics, purchase order automation, invoice reconciliation, and autonomous procurement operations. Vendor onboarding begins by sending an onboarding invitation to the vendor's registered email ID. The vendor simply clicks the URL provided in the email, which redirects them to the BIDz.ai onboarding portal. The vendor only needs to enter their PAN number or GST number. Once entered, the BIDz.ai Agentic AI platform automatically fetches the required KYC details from relevant government portals and auto-populates the onboarding form in real time. The vendor then uploads the required KYC documents for cross-verification and validation. After successful verification, the BIDz.ai autonomous engine approves the onboarding process automatically. Since the entire process is autonomous and requires almost no manual data entry, the vendor master is created automatically with higher accuracy, speed, and compliance. The next module is the Purchase Requisition, or PR module, where users enter their procurement requirements manually in cases where demand forecasting automation is not available. Once the requirements are submitted, the PR is routed through the designated approval workflow for validation and authorization by the respective approvers. The next stage is RFQ automation. Here, there is almost no manual data entry, as the approved PR is automatically converted into an RFQ by the BIDz.ai platform. The buyer then reviews and validates the RFQ before it is floated to the relevant vendors through the integrated digital communication platform. Vendors who receive the RFQ submit their bids through the integrated vendor portal within BIDz.ai. If vendors require any clarification regarding the RFQ, all queries and responses are managed through the BIDz.ai unified communication platform. There is no need for buyers or vendors to rely on traditional email communication for clarifications, corrections, or follow-ups. All communications are time-stamped, fully traceable, and centrally documented, making them highly useful for auditability, tracking, and analytics. If the buyer organization wishes to review all vendor quotations in detail, they can use the Quotation Viewer module, which displays all quotations in a single unified screen. Users no longer need to open and review quotations one by one manually. The next module is the autonomous techno-commercial comparison engine. The BIDz.ai Agentic AI platform extracts unstructured data from vendor quotations, analyzes them line by line, and automatically generates a detailed techno-commercial comparison statement. There is absolutely minimal manual effort required in this process, significantly reducing human errors and improving decision-making speed. The next module is Purchase Order Automation. In this stage, the buyer organization selects the final quotation from the vendor chosen for the PO process. The BIDz.ai platform automatically fetches the relevant details from the vendor's final quotation, vendor master, and RFQ, including shipping address, billing address, commercial terms, specifications, pricing, and other required information. Based on these inputs, the platform automatically generates a draft purchase order and routes it to the respective buyers for validation and confirmation. Once validated, the PO is pushed through the designated approval workflow for further approvals. In the case of split purchase orders, buyers can select quotations from multiple vendors. BIDz.ai also offers autonomous rate contract to purchase order automation. In traditional procurement environments, buyers typically communicate with vendors through emails or phone calls to supply required items by referring to previously signed rate contracts. This manual process often leads to discrepancies, disputes, delays, tracking issues, delayed payments, and accounting challenges. With BIDz.ai, the entire process is autonomous. Buyers simply enter the required SKUs, part numbers, or item codes in bulk upload mode or even through free text input. The platform automatically identifies the corresponding rate contract, fetches the approved commercial terms, pricing, specifications, taxes, and vendor details, and generates the purchase order automatically. This eliminates dependency on manual communication, reduces operational errors, improves traceability, accelerates procurement cycles, and ensures faster reconciliation and payment processing. The same automated workflow is triggered for each selected vendor, enabling seamless generation and processing of multiple POS in a single flow. Once approved, the purchase orders are automatically sent to the respective vendors through the BIDz.ai platform. All acknowledgements, confirmations, and acceptances are managed within the same unified platform, eliminating dependency on external email communication. This automation is highly unique compared to traditional procurement tools, where systems typically convert PRs directly into purchase orders, often resulting in incomplete or technically inaccurate POS. BIDz.ai eliminates this gap by generating technically and commercially validated purchase orders using real-time quotation, vendor, and RFQ data. The next Agentic AI module is vendor invoice submission through the integrated vendor portal of BIDz.ai. Vendors upload their invoices directly into the platform, and the system automatically validates the invoice against the corresponding purchase order. If the invoice matches the approved PO, it gets processed further. In case of any discrepancy, the invoice is automatically rejected, and a vendor receives instant notification highlighting the mismatch between the vendor invoice and the buyer organization's purchase order. Once the invoice validation is successfully completed, the next module, Goods Receipt Note, or GRN or SRN automation is automatically initiated. The platform auto-populates the GRN form using the relevant procurement and invoice data and routes it to the designated approvers for validation and approval. After the GRN is approved, the platform automatically triggers the creation of the asset master and initiates the three-way matching process between the purchase order, GRN, and vendor invoice. Once the three-way matching process is approved by the designated approvers, the transaction is pushed to the buyer organization's ERP system for payment processing and check release.